Okay, so welcome everyone. So grateful you're here. We've assembled from all corners of the globe, so it's a really, really beautiful thing. I hope you get a lot out of today. Thank you again. So just a little bit about me for those of you who I may not have formally met yet. Basically, I spent over a decade as a burnt out corporate communications manager, and I worked for really large companies doing PR in the travel and hospitality space. And all the while, I pretty much daydreamed about writing and what else life could look like for me. And to be honest, I'm in my mid 30s now, but throughout my entire 20s, I pretty much settled for the life I was living because it was easy. And so many of us do this, right? We kind of like settle for these lives because it just feels too hard to figure it out. And it was easy for me to stay in this job for over 10 years. Basically, I just moved, I stayed in the same like career path. I just kind of like moved companies. I went to larger companies, I went to smaller companies, trying to figure out if that would help me along on my journey. But really, I was scared to do something else because that's all I knew. All I knew was PR. I went to school for PR. I had internships in PR, and basically that was all I knew. Even though on a deep soul level, I knew that I was made for so much more and that I had so much more potential than just to like label myself or put myself in that box as a corporate PR professional. But it was easy. It was easy to be comfortable. It was easy to stay in unfulfilling relationships rather than being single. And we do this because it's easier than starting all over again. And that's really where we find ourselves in these states of the in between, where we know that we're meant for something more. We can't really see what's on the other side. So we just stay complacent. We stay in the position that we're in because we don't want to have to start all over again. And, it was a slew of things. I was a people pleaser. I lacked clear boundaries. I wasn't committed to myself or my personal growth. It really felt like I really didn't honor and respect myself to a point because all the decisions that I made weren't me. I made the decisions that other people made for me. I just basically went along and I lived this life that other people chose. And honestly, it almost felt like I just gave up. Like, I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. I gave up on myself. In my 20s, I was just like, I'm just going to stay in this relationship. I'm just going to stay in this job because that's it. Like, I just give up. I don't know what else to do. And we find ourselves like in this state of like, I found myself in a state of depression. And it's like this hole that you can't get out of. So the universe presents interesting ways, right, to give us the reality checks that we need. Some of us can come out of it from a place of awareness, from a place of self growth, self care, right? For me, it was the passing of my father. My father lost a battle with cancer over 10 years ago. And that really blew my world up. Like that was the thing that propelled me into my next level. Really, from that point on, I kind of spiraled on like a journey of self discovery, spiritual development. And honestly, like that moment made me own my shit, like rather than settle. Like I just decided it was kind of just like this wake up call, like a shake for me. Like, what are you doing? Like, whose life are you living? My father's last words to me were live life and be happy. And I was living a life that I was not happy with. So for the first time in my life, after experiencing, such a huge upheaval, I decided to choose me. I decided to bet on myself and I walked a path to get me where I am today. And of course, it wasn't lined with rainbows and butterflies, but it was definitely worth it. And so stepping into my purpose, and here I will share with you, like, if you don't choose, the universe will choose for you. So in my situation, the universe definitely dealt me cards to say, this is what's happening. It was like the timing of it all, like having to lose my father was really me, in essence, claiming my own journey, my own narrative. So I'm not going to bore you with 10 years of baggage, but there are shifts in our lives that propel us. And my next initiation, After that was really becoming a mother. So I was still working a corporate job, but as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I committed to becoming a full-time entrepreneur. And once my maternity leave was up, I resigned and built my business basically 2 weeks postpartum. And it's this bridge that I often tell my clients about. It's that leap of faith, that journey, and it starts with that one decision. So today we're going to be talking a lot about intention and commitment, because really, when we're co creating with the universe, those are the two things that it wants from us. The universe wants us to be clear on what intention are you setting? What is in your heart? What is in your soul? And how are you going to get there? How are you committing to us? How are you showing us that you're willing to do what it takes so that we can bring you the resources, we can bring you the connections, we can do all the things to support you on your path? Because really, we have to know that we are supported and we're not alone. And it's hard to feel that way, right? So these were really the crucial things that supported my development when I was finding my purpose. And I'm 35 years old. I just turned 35 years old this year. And I can tell you that even in the 3 years that I've had my business, this year for me, this is when I finally feel like, okay, like everything is coming into alignment. Like I have a clear direction. Although we still give ourselves grace, we still give ourselves compassion, I'm still figuring it out. We're always going to keep evolving, growing, and figuring it out. But right now, I can tell you that all of the things that I've been through in my life, everything up until this point, I now feel like safe, protected, and provided for in my purpose. But it takes a lot of trust, it takes a lot of surrender, and it takes the first step. So for me, the first step was honesty. And this is being honest with yourself, like what is working, what is not working, how can I change it? Like what shift can I make today? What shift can I make today that will help me on my path? Like, what is the one thing that you can take? What is the small step that you can do? Is it Googling that, career? Is it Googling that course? And that really leads us into investing. So once you're honest with yourself and looking around you and saying, okay, this is not working. This is disruptive to my nervous system. This is disruptive to my health, my mental health, my well-being. What does not feel good? You need to get honest with yourself, have that level of self-awareness, like what is not working for you. After that, it's really in investing. And this is a scary, scary thing for a lot of us to do because it involves safety, it involves trust, it involves us expanding in ways that feel stretchy and vulnerable. And I can tell you the first time I invested in a mentor was when I resigned from my corporate job. I didn't have a steady paycheck coming in. My bridge was I was just consulting, doing a couple PR projects here and there. I wasn't making a steady income. I was doing a little bit of VA work hourly while I was, still a new mom. And I invested $5,000 in a one-on-one, like ancestral healing, conscious business mentor, Ashley Johns. And it was scary. I was like, I had to take the money out of my savings. And I was like, oh my gosh, am I really going to do this? Is it really going to even help me? Like, what am I going to do? But I knew, like my heart and my soul was like set on it. I knew that I needed something. I knew that I needed someone, because if I didn't invest in myself, I knew that I wasn't going to hold myself accountable, and I wanted to be successful. I wanted to win, right? I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to have to go back to a corporate job for so many reasons. So I did it. I invested in myself, and I can tell you it was honestly the best investment that I ever made. And from there, it gave me the confidence to continue investing. From there, I invested in another coach. That was another $6,000. I invested in other courses and programs, other mentors that were thousands of dollars. And not from a space of like ego of like, okay, I need to open my wallet and pay someone else to teach me. No, it has to feel aligned. It has to feel supportive. And you just need to know that you are investing in your future, and the universe will give it back to you tenfold. Because whenever you're living in alignment, whenever you are so clear from a pure space, from a heart space, whenever you are so clear nothing can stand in your way, and everything will be, you will be supported and protected. It's just making that first initial leap. It's doing the first step that it takes. And from there, you are going to be, from there, you're going to be able to create the life that you want. So never be afraid of investing in your growth if it feels good, if it feels supportive, if it feels aligned. And then, of course, community. Community is such an important thing, especially for people who are starting out. One thing about finding your purpose is it's a very vulnerable experience. You are cracking yourself open. You're doing things that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. So you really need like the mentors and the community to be behind you, encouraging you, motivating you, helping you expand, help you learn, help you grow, sharing stories. So community connections are really, really important. For me, I didn't have any role models. I didn't have people around me that were doing what I wanted to be doing. So it was really important for me to, shift my vibration, be with women who are on a higher vibrational frequency than the people that were currently in my life, so that I can grow and I can expand. Everyone thought I was crazy, to be honest. Like my whole family, all my friends, they kind of like skirted around the issue. Even to this day, they don't even ask like what I'm doing, how's my business. They kind of like just stay out of it because they don't understand. Because the traditional paradigm is work a corporate job, get your 401k, have your health insurance. And collectively as a society, we're coming out of that, but still, there's still like this, there's still this feeling that that's the only way that you can make it. That's the only way you can live. That's the only way you can have a career. So when we're opening up to our purpose, we're also expanding our possibility. We're expanding our minds. We're not limiting ourselves anymore. And that's why we're going to go into when you're living in alignment and when you're living out of alignment, right? Your life is meant to feel good. And I'm not saying that every part of life, even when you're living in your purpose, is going to be sunshine, butterflies, and rainbows. It's not. It's still going to take the work. It's still going to be hard. There's going to be days when you're like, I don't know if I could keep going. I don't know if I can do this. That is part of the human experience, right? So we're human beings, but we're also soul beings. And when our soul is out of alignment with what we've came to do here in this lifetime, everything else around us shifts. So living in alignment really feels like freedom. It feels like ease. It feels abundant, right? And when you're out of alignment, it's like anxiety, like everything is hard. It's a struggle. And this is where you get your blocks energetically and even manifesting into physical symptoms, right? So when we have unhealed traumas, when we are not being honest with ourselves, when we're living out of alignment, when we're allowing other people to create our narrative, when we're allowing other people to create our decisions, make our choices, that's when all of the spiritual blockages come. That's when the physical blockages come. That's when, our centers are feeling constricted, limited. As women, our hearts and our wombs are our most valuable possessions, but they're the ones that also take the beating, right? So our hearts and our wombs hold all of our trauma. They store all of that negativity. It's really important that we move out and we clear out our heart and our womb spaces in order to create. That's our center of creation. That's our center of manifestation. That's the center of everything in our lives. All of our dreams are being held there. So we really want to make sure that we're being honest, we're being vulnerable, and it's hard to have that level of self-awareness, but that's why participating in community, investing in wellness resources, for people who can hold space for your growth are really important. To this day, I still have mentors. I still do the spiritual and the physical things that I need to do to move my energy around. I get Reiki every month. I have an acupuncturist. I do things to keep my physical and my spiritual body healthy. So when we're thinking about living in our purpose, it's also giving back to ourselves, having that self-care, having that self-love, making sure we're pouring into ourselves and being really gentle. When I was at my most unhappiest, like I was literally addicted to affirmations. I would play affirmations from YouTube on my way to work just to trick my brain into thinking that it was happy, literally like toxic positivity as its best. And like, that's no way to live. And I knew it was no way to live, but I still let it happen, right? Now I can say that my affirmations feel good. My intentions feel good. When I wake up and I have an affirmation, it's not from a place of toxic positivity, but rather it's a place of expansion and growth. And so when you're in alignment, your days are easeful, you feel abundant. And this is really about, stepping into your purpose and stepping into your path is really about shedding everything that does not feel aligned or supportive to your highest and greatest good. It's all of the programs, it's all of the limiting beliefs, it's releasing everything. Basically, it's releasing the story that you've been told about you, and it's recreating it, and it's writing your own narrative at no matter what the cost is. So this is when we talk about sovereignty and being and showing up in your authenticity. And it's hard for us. It's hard for us as women because we're going to talk about all of the limiting beliefs. Like, look at all of these limiting beliefs that we have. What limits us? It's the fear of everything, the fear of failing, the fear of rejection, the fear that you're not going to be good enough, the fear of, I don't know what to do, so I'm just not going to do anything. And then when we get the courage to do something, it's the imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to do this? Who am I to make this money, to stretch myself this thin? Who am I to show up and talk to people about purpose, right? What qualifies me? Like, who am I? And then it's like the judgment. What are people going to think? What are people going to say? Like, how are people going to look at me? What's my family going to think? What's my friends going to think? And, all of this is just wrapped in the fact that we don't feel like we're worthy enough as women to live the life that we want. We don't feel like we're worthy of the success. We don't feel worthy of the relationship. We don't feel worthy of our purpose. So we keep ourselves small. And then, of course, there's the lack of clarity. I'm just not clear on what I'm going to do or what that is. So I'm just not going to do anything. And, the truth is, you know more than you give yourself credit for. It's just the rest of these things are just weighing you down. The fear is crippling, right? The idea of people judging you is crippling. It's crippling enough for you to not even get started. It's crippling enough for you not to make that first step. But today, that ends because you're safe here, you're protected here, and you're being encouraged to just take that one stretchy step. Open that IG account for the business, even if you don't tell anybody about it, even if you're not ready to post anything on it. Open the IG, open the business bank account. Get a website on Squarespace or Wix. Do the one thing, something that you have to look forward to. Enroll in the course, book the reading, hire the coach. Whatever it is that you need to feel supported, be really honest with yourself. What do you need to feel supported? And go in that direction. And that could be your small step. And I just want you to think about for a second, like, what keeps you from making that leap? For me in my 20s, that fear was shame of not being good enough. I opened businesses when I was in my 20s. And I incorporated businesses and they failed. I tried to do it on the side while I was working. They didn't work. So when it came to starting my business as a new mom, I was scared. I was like, well, I tried this already and it didn't work. What's different this time? What's different this time is I believed in myself. I had the courage. I had the support. I had the confidence. I had the commitment and the intention. In my 20s, I never had the intention or commitment. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall, which is okay too. That's fine too sometimes. I still do that now. But those are the two things, intention and commitment. that will carry you so far. And is that thing that keeps you from making the leap, is it worth missing your entire purpose for? Is the fear worth it at the end of the day if you aren't going to fulfill your purpose, if you're not going to live your life feeling fulfilled or complete? My biggest fear, honestly, was getting to the end of my life and like the guardian or whoever source telling me, hey, like you missed your whole purpose. Like you didn't fulfill anything you came here to do. Like that was always in the back of my mind. That was my biggest fear. Okay. It terrified me. So that alone is what keeps me going. So whenever I find myself stuck and at a crossroads, I just tell myself, okay, like you're in your purpose, just keep going, like keep living in your purpose. At least you're trying, right? Give yourself the credit. At least you're trying. Okay. So that leads us to our intention. I want all of you, hopefully you have a journal, you have a pen, so that you can write what comes up for you like throughout this experience. And I really want you to take a few minutes to set an intention if you haven't already. What is it that you want to discover today? Like really sitting in. And today, I really want us collectively to really sit in our heart and our womb space. Okay. And what is really beautiful about getting a group of women together is that collectively we are cheering each other on energetically. Okay. So we all came here today with the same reason, like the same, we want to live more aligned lives. We want to live in our purpose so that we can create the lives that we want. We want to stop settling. We want to start living, right? So set your intention. If you feel called to, go ahead and share it in the chat of what you really want to discover today. And I just want to let you guys know, you are safe here. This is a safe space and you are protected. And today is an intentional time for you to really connect to your highest self and get the answers that you're looking for. So if anyone wants to share, go ahead and write it in the chat. And we're just going to sit here for a couple more seconds. So you can write down your intention in your journal of what you'd like to discover today. All right. So we're going to revisit this intention after the guided meditation when we're doing our commitment exercise. Okay, so intention and commitment, the two things, and we're going to get those done today. Beautiful, really beautiful intentions being shared in the chat to be more aligned and decide if I'm really heading in the right direction with my business. Beautiful, Carol. Nellie, to get clarity about if, when, and how to start my own business. Beautiful. All right, everyone. So now we're going to go into the guided meditation. So I really want you to get comfortable. I want you to get comfortable and sit or lay down, whatever feels most supportive and aligned for you. I just want to make sure that you have your notebook and your pen next to you so that you could write down anything that comes through. All right, so go ahead and take a moment. Just get really comfortable. And we're going to set an intention collectively as a group for the meditation. Really trust yourself, trust what is coming up. Don't judge it. Okay. And I'm going to prompt you throughout the meditation. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Like, don't judge what's coming up because you are a powerful soul being. And even if you're like, oh, I'm not good at meditation, I never get anything when I meditate, just allow yourself to receive whatever you're ready to receive. We're collectively holding space for one another energetically, and you're going to get exactly what you need to get. And don't put any pressure on yourself because a lot of people put pressure on themselves when they do these guided meditations of like, oh my gosh, I can't see anything, I can't hear anything. Just sit with the stillness and just allow yourself to receive. So we're going to pretend that we are each vases, right? So we're these vases waiting to be filled with beautiful, nourishing water so that our flowers can bloom in it. Okay, so I want you to picture yourself as like an empty vase being filled up, receiving this nourishing water, this source water. Okay, and just don't judge what comes up for you, just allow it to flow. All right, so I hope that you're in your relaxing position. We're just going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out through your mouth. You're just going to let any tension slip away from your body. Just really allowing yourself to be present and just to focus on this moment. Knowing that you're safe and that you're protected here. It's safe to have this intentional time for yourself to find the answers that you're looking for. We're just going to ask that our conscious mind give us this time to connect with our highest self. Just allowing our mind to step aside, allowing our bodies to sink into our hearts and our womb space. Allowing your feet to relax. Your legs are relaxing, sinking deeper into the position that you're in. Allowing your hips to relax, releasing any tension in your lower body. Allowing your stomach to relax, connecting to your breath, just allowing yourself to be fully present. Allowing your hands to relax next to you. Allowing your chest to relax. Again, connecting to your breath. Allowing your face muscles to relax. Releasing any tension in your jaw, in your face. Relaxing any tension from your shoulders. Just connecting to your breath. In your mind's eye, you're going to visualize yourself in a beautiful, lush, green, enchanted forest. Right before you is a golden path. You're going to go ahead and follow that path to a clearing in the forest, noticing any sights, any smells, any sounds as you walk along the path, feeling the sunlight on your face, just feeling really calm and at ease here. Once you reach the clearing, you're surrounded by beautiful, tall trees and blossoming flowers. You're going to go ahead and ask your highest self to appear before you, to accompany you on the rest of the journey. As the energy of your highest self greets you, She is glowing, eager to assist you today. You hold hands and together walk toward a pedestal in the middle of the forest. On top of this pedestal is a book. She directs you to a page in the book. You lean forward and read the words on the page. Take a second and write down any specific words, phrases, or visuals that you're receiving right now. Sink deeper into your heart space. Open up your heart. Be in this moment, allowing your highest self to convey the message that you're ready to receive. Even if it's not clear or doesn't make sense, just write it down. Don't judge or try to reason with what you're reading. Surrender to what's on the page. Breathing in to this space, allowing yourself to just write, connect to your highest self. See what it is that she's showing you. When you are done, your highest self looks at you and smiles, knowing that you're so curious about your path. Again, she flips to a specific page in the book, this time directing your attention and focus on a symbol. This symbol represents the divine energy, protection, and thing that you can return to when you feel lost or confused. Take a moment to draw or write the symbol down. Some of you may even see multiple symbols. Just make a note of each one. Allow yourself to receive the symbol. Feel free to ask questions. What does the symbol represent? How does it support you? Trying not to judge or rationalize in this moment, just really allowing your heart to lead, to trust, just surrender to the message, surrender to this moment. Drawing out any symbols, any visuals, asking any questions about what it means for your path. Your time here is complete. Your highest self closes the book, but wants to share a parting message with you about what you need to focus on the most today in order to get on this path. Open your heart space to receive her message without judgment or trying to analyze what is being received. Allow her to pour into you, guiding you. Be a clear and empty vessel for the message. Take a moment to write down any feelings, any words, symbols. Again, feel free to ask questions. Ask her specific question about what it is she really wants you to focus on today, to get on your path, to be in your purpose. When her message is complete, together you walk back toward the golden path. And once you reach the golden path, she says goodbye and disappears with a ball of bright white light entering through your crown chakra. Know that she's always with you, leading and guiding you, that all you have to do is ask. You continue walking on the golden path until you reach a door at the end of it. Open the door, and you are transported back into your space, into this present time and reality. Grounding your energy, experiencing your energy as a ball of beautiful golden light entering through your crown chakra, going down through your head, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, filling your stomach, your womb, your hips and your legs, all the way down through your feet, growing roots and being planted in to the ground beneath you. You are back in this time and in this space. When you are ready, feel free to open your eyes, but also stay connected to your heart and just take a few minutes. We're just going to take a few more moments to just journal anything out, any extra details, any downloads, anything that you're receiving right now. Just want you to take a minute to write them in your journal. All right, so now we're going to go over to our commitment exercise. And these are going to be journal prompts. So now that we're still in the energy of our purpose, now that we are feeling connected to our highest selves, moving through these questions, I'm just going to read each one aloud right now. And then we're going to have, a couple minutes to just really be intentional and just write down whatever comes to you. So, what are you meant to do? Who are you here to serve? How does it feel to live in alignment with your purpose? What steps are you ready to take today on this path? And I am committing to. And this is just like a free flow, just stream of consciousness. What are you committing to today? I'm committing to showing up fully. I'm committed to being in my presence. I'm committed to investing in myself. I'm committed to finding community, like just stream of consciousness, all of this out for like the next 2 minutes. Just going to go ahead and continue writing in your journals. All right. So now I would love to open it up. I'm going to stop recording. And I would love to open it up to community connection, any feedback, if anybody wants to share what they experienced, what came up for them. Also, if you have any questions, if you need any clarity on anything that you might have saw, or if you have any questions right now about your path that you want to talk about. Let me just stop recording.